Marley was dead, to begin with. There is no doubt whatever about that. Old Marley was as dead as a doornail. Scrooge knew he was dead? Of course he did. How could it be otherwise? Scrooge and he were partners for I don't know how many years. Scrooge was his sole executor, his sole administrator, his sole assign, his sole residuary legatee, his sole friend and sole mourner. And even Scrooge was not so dreadfully cut up by the sad event, and that he was an excellent man of business on the very day of the funeral, and solemnized it with an undoubted bargain. Which brings me back to the point I started from. There is no doubt that Marley was dead. This must be distinctly understood, or nothing wonderful can come of the story you're about to see.
Silent night, holy night, all is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child, holy infant so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace, sleep in heavenly peace.
Oh, he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, Scrooge. Squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner. Scrooge was tall, but bent. His back was perhaps permanently stuck that way from years hunched over ledgers and unending stacks of papers. His nose and chin were bony and pointed, and his eyes were small and dark, and glittered faintly behind a pair of ancient glasses perched upon his razor-sharp nose. Hard and sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck out generous fire, secret and self-contained and solitary as an oyster. External heat and cold had little influence on Scrooge. No warmth could warm, no wintry weather chill him, no wind that blew was bitterer than he.
Stave 1, Marley's Ghost.
What? A Christmas Carol.
Where? London, England.
When? Once upon a time.
Of all the good days in the year on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat busy in his counting house. Oh, it was cold, bleak, biting weather. Scrooge could hear the people in the court outside go wheezing up and down, beating their hands upon their breasts and stamping their feet upon the pavement stones to warm them. The city clocks had only just gone 3, but it was quite dark already. It had not been light all day. Ebenezer Scrooge kept a close eye upon his clerk, who, in a dismal little cell beyond, was copying letters. Scrooge had a very small fire. But the clerk's fire was so very much smaller that it looked like one coal. But he couldn't replenish it, for Scrooge kept the coal box in his own room, wherefore the clerk put on his blanket and tried to warm himself on the candle, in which effort, not being a man of strong imagination, he failed.
Hi, but it's a blustery day out there. A Merry Christmas to you, sir. Scrooge and Marley's, I believe.
What of it?
Have I the pleasure of speaking to Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley?
Mr. Marley's been dead these 7 years. He died 7 years ago, this very night.
Oh. Well, I have no doubt that his reputation is well represented by his surviving partner. At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, those who are able, men of wealth and status such as yourself, should make some slight provision for the poor and the destitute. Many thousand are in want of common comfort, sir. Well, think of the children. Think of the poor orphans. Think of their growling bellies, their worn-out shoes, and their frozen toesies.
Are there no prisons?
Prisons? Yes, plenty of prisons.
And the workhouses, are they in operation?
Oh, they are very busy, sir. Always filled with debtors.
Good. I was afraid something had occurred to stop them in their useful course.
We choose this time of all others when want is keenly felt and abundance rejoices. Well, by that I mean it is Christmas. Oh, what shall I put you down for?
Nothing!
Oh, you wish to remain anonymous?
No, you great twit! I wish to be left alone. I support the establishments I have mentioned, and those who are badly off must go there.
Many cannot go there, sir, and many would rather die.
Then they had better do it, and decrease the surplus population. Good afternoon.
But...
Leave!
Oh, good afternoon.
Though the frost was cruel, and the poor man came inside, gathering with their fuel. Hello, Penny Voice Homestead?
Get a job!
My, what strange weather we are having! A Merry Christmas to you, Uncle. God bless you. Well, hello, Bob. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Master Fred.
Bah! Christmas! Bah humbug!
Christmas a humbug. Oh, you don't mean that, I'm sure.
What right have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Well, what right have you to be dismal? You're rich enough.
Christmas. What's Christmas time to you? But a time for paying bills without any money? A time for feeling a year older and not an hour richer? Every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips should be boiled in his own pudding and bedded with a stake of holly through his heart.
Uncle!
He should. Christmas. What good it has ever done you?
Oh, there are many things by which I have not profited, but I've always thought of Christmas time as a wonderful time. When men and women open up their shut-up hearts freely and think of people below them as if they are really fellow passengers to the grave and not another race of creature altogether. And therefore, Uncle, though it has not put a scrap of gold in my pocket, I believe it has done me good, and will do me good, and I say, God bless it!
Let me hear another sound from you, and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation.
Don't be cross, Uncle. Now, come, dine with us tomorrow.
I'll see you in hell first.
I'm sorry to find you so resolute, but I've made trial in homage to Christmas, and I will keep my Christmas humour to the last. A Merry Christmas, Uncle!
Good afternoon.
Off Scrooge's merry nephew went, singing all the way home.
There's another fellow, my clerk, at 15 shillings a week, with the wife and the family, walking about with Merry Christmas on his lips. I suppose you'll want all day tomorrow?
Well, if it's quite convenient,
It's
sir.
not convenient. And it's not fair.
It's only once a year, sir.
Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. And I suppose I shall have to make the collections myself on my way home. I suppose you must have the full day? Be here all the earlier the next morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And a merry... Good afternoon.
Merry Christmas indeed. Bah! Humbug! Who the devil is that? Who's there?
Ebenezer
Scrooge, a man of little imagination, felt a trickle of sweat down the back of his neck and a cold lump sink in his stomach. He reached out, opened the door to reveal nothing. Scrooge closed the counting house and hurried through the gloomy dusk toward the marketplace. Scrooge made his way through the busy market, seeking out his debtors. No beggars implored him to bestow a trifle. No children asked him what time it was. No man or woman ever once inquired the way to such a place.
Out of my way!
Look, Mamma, it's that awful Mr. Scrooge!
What a horrible man.
Collections. 5 and threepence, sir, due immediately, with interest.
Sir, I can't pay!
That's none of my business. Perhaps a month or two in prison will change your tune.
Oh, please, sir, can I have a little bit more time?
For your children's sake, madam, I would find the appropriate funds.
No person greeted him or wished him well. Children cried when he saw them. Dogs cowered. But what did Scrooge care? It was the very thing he liked, to edge his way along the crowded paths of life, warning all human sympathy
Arms,
to keep its distance.
arms for the poor! You, sir! Spare a little something!
Keep away from me, wretch!
But it's for the baby!
I said keep away!
Mercy for me and my child!
Get away or
Mercy! 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 Molly!
Home again. Scrooge lived in chambers which had once belonged to his deceased partner. They were a gloomy suite of rooms. The yard was so dark that even Scrooge, who knew its every stone, groped for his front door in the dull night. Now, it is a fact that there was nothing at all particular about the knocker on the door, except that it was very large. It is also a fact that Scrooge had seen it, night and morning, every day for 7 years. And as I mentioned before, Scrooge had very little imagination about him. And then, let any man explain to me, if he can, how it happened that Scrooge, having his key in the lock of the door, saw the knocker form a horrible, tortured face. The face of Jacob Marley. And as quickly as it had appeared, it was gone again.
Good evening, Master Scrooge!
Dilber!
You all right, sir?
Fine, I'm fine.
Well, you're home late, sir.
What business is that of yours?
Well, I'm just making pleasant conversation, sir. I've already stoked the fire and turned down your bed. Would you like supper before I go?
Of course. What sort of idiotic question is that?
Well, I'll prepare it straight away. Quick as a wink, that's 3. Are you all right, sir? You look as though you've seen a ghost.
What do you mean by that, Dilber?
Well, you say you're right pale, sir. I mean, paler than usual.
Do shut up and get me my supper. I wish to retire early tonight.
All right, Master Scrooge. I'll just nip down to the kitchen and be right back with your Molly.
Dear God, what?
And I said I'll be right back with your barley. You senile old fart.
Up Scrooge went to his bedroom, not caring a button for the dark. Darkness is cheap, and Scrooge liked it. He walked through his rooms to see that all was right. Nobody under the table, nobody under the sofa, nobody under the bed, nobody in the closet, nobody in his dressing gown.
Here's your barley, sir.
Dilber!
Rest in it while it's still tepid, sir.
Oh, get out!
Sweet dreams.
Thus secured, Scrooge put on his dressing gown, slippers, and his nightcap, and sat down before the fire to take his gruel.
What? Who? Who are you? What are you? No, humbug.
Ceased as they had begun together. They were succeeded by a clanking noise deep down below. Then he heard the noise much louder on the floors below, and then coming up the stairs, and then coming straight towards his door.
It's humbug still. I won't believe it. What do you want with me?
Much.
Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Who were you then?
In life I was your partner, Jacob Marley. You don't believe in me.
I don't.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because very little affects them. Perhaps I've gone to bed with food poisoning. You could be a undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, a bit of underdone potato. Oh, there's more gravy than grave about you, whatever you are. Humbug, I say. Humbug! Mercy!
Do you believe in me or not?
Yes, I do. But why do you haunt me, spirit?
It is required of every man to walk among his fellow men. And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. It is doomed to wander through the world and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth.
You carry so many chains, Jacob. Why are you so fettered?
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. Of my own free will I wore it. Is its pattern strange to you? Or would you know the weight and length of the chain you bear yourself? It was full as heavy and as long as this 7 Christmas Eves ago. You have labored on it since.
Oh, speak comfort to me, Jacob.
I have none to give. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger anywhere. My spirit never walked beyond our counting house.
You always were a good man of business, Jacob.
Business! Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, and benevolence were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business. Hear me! My time is nearly gone. I am here tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and hope of escaping my fate.
Thank you, Jacob.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
I think I'd rather not.
Expect the first when the bell tolls midnight.
Couldn't I take them all at once? Get it over with.
Look to see me no more!
Remember what has passed between us.
The air was filled with phantoms, wandering hither and thither in restless haste and moaning as they went. Every one of them wore chains like Marley's ghost. Some few, they might be guilty governments, were linked together. Whether these creatures dissipated into mist or mist enshrouded them, he could not tell. But they and their spirit voices faded together, and the night became quiet and dark once more. And Scrooge, from the emotion he had undergone, or the fatigues of the day, or his glimpse of the invisible world, or the dull conversation of the ghost, or the lateness of the hour, went straight to bed.
Humbug! Stave 2, the first of 3 spirits.
Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
What do you think?
Who are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
Your past.
Spirit, your light is so bright it blinds me.
Oh, whoopsie.
Thank you, Spirit. My eyes are tired from the light.
Aha! Would you so quickly shut up with worldly hands the light I give?
No, Spirit, I do not mean to offend. Please forgive me.
Oh, you're fine.
What business has brought you here tonight?
Your welfare.
Well, I'm much obliged, but I can't help but think that 8 hours of sleep would...
Quiet!
We have much to accomplish. Let us fly.
Out the window. Oh, but Spirit, I am mortal and liable to fall.
Quite possibly. Here we go.
And with blinding speed, Scrooge found himself flying over the steeples and roofs of London. Suddenly, they stood upon an open country road, with fields on either hand. The city had entirely vanished. The darkness and the mist had vanished with it, for it was a clear, cold winter day with snow upon the ground.
Good heavens! Oh, the old boarding school. I was bred here. Oh, there's the old schoolhouse. And, the old pond. My favorite tree. And the road to the village. And there, my old schoolmate. Hello there. Goodbye.
These are but shadows of things that have been. They have no consciousness of us. What is that upon your cheek?
The pimple. Lead where you will.
That school is not quite deserted. A solitary child, neglected by his friends, is left there still.
I know. Only his books to keep him company in a cold, lonely room while his friends go home for the holiday. Poor boy. I wish. But it's too late now.
What is the matter?
Nothing.
Let us see another Christmas.
Although they had but that moment left the school behind them, they were now in the busy thoroughfares of a city, where shadowy passengers passed and repassed, and where shadowy carts and coaches battled for the way, and all the strife and tumult of a real city were. It was made plain enough by the dressing of the shops that here too it was Christmas time again. But it was evening, and the streets were lit up.
Do you know this place?
Know it. Why, I was apprenticed here. It was my first job at a warehouse owned by... It's Fezziwig! Oh, it's old Fezziwig! Bless his heart, it's Fezziwig alive again!
Yo-ho! Ebenezer Scrooge!
Me?
My boy! No more work today! It's Christmas! It's Christmas! Now, let's get these shutters up and clear away in here before a man can say Jack Robinson.
Right, yes, sir. Yes. Okay, all right, yes.
Let's get this first.
But this was all right.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I'm just going to sleep up in your wearing something terrible for this party. Fuzzy, you're here!
Good to see you. Oh, that was a Christmas party to remember. Everyone in the neighborhood came to the warehouse to celebrate the season. Oh, there was music, wine, and the food.
Clear the tables away now! It's time for dancing!
And the dance.
That's all. the one I like. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing. Joy to the world, the Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every heart prepare him room, and heaven and nature sing, 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 and heaven and nature sing. Yes, good night, good evening, Merry Christmas.
Such a small matter to fill these silly folks with such gratitude.
Small. Mr. Fezziwig was a great employer, a great human.
He spent but a few pounds of your mortal money. Is that so much to deserve such praise?
It isn't that. It's that he had the power to make us happy or unhappy, to make our service light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. The happiness he gave us was worth a fortune, and if it hadn't been for him, I never would have met.
Oh, Ebenezer, I think Miss Bell needs an escort home.
You dance wonderfully, Ebenezer.
Oh, I deserve no such praise. You were truly queen of the floor.
Flatterer. Just look at the sky. You don't see stars like this in London. It's so beautiful.
Not as beautiful as you. My dearest Belle, I meant what I said some days ago. Have you given my words much thought?
Oh, much thought.
So?
Nothing would make me happier than to be your wife.
You have made me so very happy.
Good night, Ebenezer.
What is the matter?
Nothing in particular.
My time grows short. Quick!
Again, Scrooge saw himself. He was older now, a man in the prime of life. His face had not the harsh and rigid lines of later years, but it had begun to wear the signs of care and avarice.
Is this not the same young woman we saw before? She is in mourning.
Yes. Her father died.
There were tears, which sparkled in the light that shone out of the ghost of Christmas past.
It matters little. To you, very little. An idol has displaced
And
me.
what idol has
A
displaced
golden
you?
one.
Oh, and what then? Am I changed towards you?
Our contract is an old one. It was made when we were both poor and content to be so until in good season we could patiently improve our worldly fortune. You have changed. It was made when you were another man.
I was a boy.
Your feelings ought to tell you that you have changed. How often I've thought this, I cannot say. It is enough that I have thought it and can release you.
What do you mean?
If there had never been anything between us, Would you go out and win me now? No.
You think that?
I would gladly think otherwise, if I could, but if you were free today, tomorrow, yesterday, could I believe that you would choose a dowerless girl? Or if you were false enough on your guiding principles to choose me, don't I know that I would regret it? I release you with a full heart, with love for the man you once were. You may find pain in this, but after a very, very brief time, you will dismiss it as an unprofitable dream that you've happily awoke. May you be happy in the life you've chosen.
Show me no more! Why do you delight to torture me? Remove me from this place!
I told you these are but things of shadows that have been. They are what they are. Do not blame me.
Remove me! I cannot bear it! Leave me! Take me back! Haunt me no longer!
They are what they are. They are what they are. They are what they are. They are what they
Playing Scrooge was great. There's nothing better than playing the villain. I mean, the villains are the most fun to play, and whether you want to admit it or not, everybody roots for the villains. You know what I mean? Like, the villains are the best parts.
Hello? Penny voice homestead?
Get a job!
To put on the shoes of Ebenezer Scrooge is something that I, as a young actor, never imagined I would ever get to do at this stage in my career. It was a daunting task trying to show his reality. It was exciting to be able to share the title of Scrooge with Rachel and with Gibby, because it does really show that Scrooge's journey is that of everyone. It's not just of the upper class. It's not that of, your highest CEOs and your billionaires, but it can be anyone who has that darkness in them. And it's definitely a journey that I will take with me throughout the rest of my career.
Being in the show was a blast, and always joining in with a group of people who had been doing it for a couple of years, so sort of being ushered into that family was really, really nice. I particularly remember meeting Patrick Hughes for the first time.
My name is Patrick Hughes. I have for 4 years played Nephew Fred in performances of A Christmas Carol at Open Stage. My experience with A Christmas Carol has been deeply moving and meaningful to me. Being able to be in the same show for 4 years has been unique for me. I've never returned to a performance like this, and It's been really wonderful to be part of such a group of intelligent, creative, thoughtful people.
My name is Dave Richwine, and for the last 4 years, I have been a part of A Christmas Carol at Open Stage, playing the roles of Jacob Marley, Bob Cratchit, Old Joe, the priest, and about 35 assorted partygoers, guests, and friends. I honestly have no idea why they keep asking me to come back and do it another year. I'm always a problem.
Oh, Christmas Carol people. First of all, I want to say congratulations to all my Open Stage friends who are reinventing Christmas Carol once again. It has been such a privilege to be part of Christmas Carol for many years, playing the same role. And it's important to me because of the essence of it, the spirit of the story, and the message of the story, but then also because of the camaraderie of the cast.
I do miss the show. There is an element of chaos, but meaningful chaos, in the sense of there are a ton of rehearsals. There is a lot of settling backstage in terms of who does what, who moves what, who's responsible for what, and there are so many members in this cast, all doing different things at the same time. It's neat to settle into what your role and responsibility is going to be. And it feels great to have an attitude that we're all in this together.
I miss the chaos backstage, the flying petticoats, the quick changes, the mad dashes, the, wrangling children from this side to that side, the Christmas carols, and all the treats and cookies and everything backstage, the camaraderie that went on backstage. I don't miss the corset. Not one bit. No, don't miss the corset.
Because I am the Oshkid instructor, anytime there was any issue dealing with an Oshkid for the 20th anniversary production, I was the one that was called upon. People were missing shoes. I don't know how you miss a shoe, but there were shoes missing, socks. At one point, an entire child's costume was missing, like pants, shirt, jacket, and that costume is sewn together. Like the jacket, shirt, and tie are all sewn together, and the child was like, it's gone. I don't know what you want me to do, but it's gone. And so it's interesting to be the teacher in that situation. You can turn it into a learning moment of, you need to keep track of your costumes, you need to keep track of this, but the actor in me is going, we are 5 minutes away from curtain, and you're just now telling me this?
Hi, I'm Jonathan Hoover, and I'm in 8th grade. I've been in Christmas Carol 3 times, and I have so many fun memories. One of my favorites is when our call time was so early that we were able to watch all of Mulan and still had time to get ready. Another one is when me and the other kids got to run around the stage and sing, and I ran into a really tall desk and it busted a hole in my hat. I also remember that every show, Ebenezer Scrooge would throw me a bag of coins. I never knew how he was going to throw it, where it was going to go, or if I was going to catch it. It's some of my favorite Christmas memories.
One of my favorite memories is every year, because there are a large number of children in the show, there are invariably new kids who join the cast. And those new kids are not familiar with the experience of having Jacob Marley in full makeup and chains come at full speed to make an entrance for a scene. And you can always tell who the new kids are, because in that first moment when they're all standing in the hallway waiting for their next entrance, and here comes me, expressions on those new kids' faces is just indescribable.
Each year it's different. There's different relationships with different actors, but some things that remain the same, including that Scrooge, who is played by my father, being able to be on stage with him each of those 4 years is one of the things that makes deeply meaningful the performance for me.
every year I would wait for the lines, particularly the lines of Jacob Marley, to get stale or to lose their relevance to me. And every single year I would hear myself saying, charity, mercy, benevolence, forbearance were all my business. And I would get goosebumps, like I'm getting them right now, because they are as meaningful now as they were the first time I said them, the last time I said them, and probably when they were written.
I grew up hearing A Christmas Carol, watching A Christmas Carol, because it's one of my dad's favorite stories. In fact, my earliest memory of A Christmas Carol is actually his dinner theater production that he did when I was about 6 or 7 years old. He would take me to rehearsals, and I would watch all the actors put on this story time and time again, to the point that I may or may not have had the entire script memorized.
I think it is important for us to connect with the lessons that the ghosts teach Scrooge, which are that your past is your past, and you have to honor it. You can't change it. It is what it is. But it's good to be aware of your past. It's good to know where you came from and what made you the person that you are.
A familiar story can be like ointment to the soul. And I find this transformation between the miserly Scrooge to the giving Scrooge so essential. It gives us all hope, gives us all the potential for forgiveness and to live every day as something new and meaningful. And I think that's what this story means to me.
I think I'm a sucker for second chances. And I think the reason I like Christmas Carol so much is because you scratch the surface of the story and it's all about second chances and seeing what could be if things were a little bit different.
And I think it's an important story that we keep telling, because it is at its core about kindness and compassion and generosity of spirit. And we all need that message now and forever, I think. Because it is such a joy. It brings me joy as an actor to say those words, to inhabit these characters, and to tell this story together with you all. So, Merry Christmas, everyone. I love you, I miss you, and be safe.
Here's what I'm going to miss about A Christmas Carol. The glitter. And the sideburns.
The Inner Circle is our new way of having our patrons be able to support Open Stage by making a monthly contribution.
With a subscription to Open Stage this season via the Inner Circle, you are helping us create theatrical experiences for everyone to see.
Yes, the great thing about the Inner Circle is it's the subscribers who do make their monthly contributions that allow us to make all of our shows completely by donation, which means our product, our theater, our art is now accessible to everyone.
We like to say that your monthly donation actually helps someone else watch theater for free.
You're contributing to an art that you believe in, but not just for yourself. You're actually making it more accessible to someone who maybe has never had the opportunity to experience it. So I think Inner Circle members are absolutely heroes.
We could not do what we are doing this season without the love and support of our Inner Circle members and from viewers just like you. So if you have a moment, please go over to our website, openstagehbg.com, Learn more about the Inner Circle, and if you have questions, please reach out to us. We would love to talk to you more about it.
One, two, three, 1, 2, 3.
After everything that had occurred that evening, Scrooge was ready for anything, and that nothing between a baby and a rhinoceros would have astonished him very much.
Stave 3. The second of the three spirits.
Now, being prepared for almost anything, he was not by any means prepared for nothing. "5 minutes? "10 minutes? A quarter of an hour went by. Yet nothing came.
Dash it all! What's taking so long?
Scrooge noticed a thin line of light coming from under the door leading to his study.
Finally. Hello?
In easy state upon this couch there sat a jolly giant, glorious to see.
Oh my!
Scrooge! Come here and know me better, man! I am the ghost of Christmas present! Look upon me! You have not seen the like of me before.
Oh, I should say not.
You have not walked with the younger members of my family.
Have you had many brothers, Spirit?
More than 1,850.
Oh, a tremendous family to provide for.
I provide for mankind.
Conduct me where you will, Spirit. If you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it.
All right.
And they stood in the city streets on Christmas morning. There was nothing very cheerful in the climate, and yet was there an air of cheerfulness among the people of the town. And soon the steeples called good people all to church and chapel, and away they came, flocking through the streets in their best clothes and with their gayest faces. The Spirit led Scrooge to the threshold of a small, ramshackle home and stopped.
Come back here, boy.
It is a poor dwelling.
Yes. But what else could you afford on 15 shillings a week? A wife and children.
Scrooge found himself inside the run-down but surprisingly cosy house, and was met with a tumult of chaos. A gaggle of children singing and playing round a smallish table, ruled by a ruddy-faced matriarch, making final preparations for Christmas dinner. In came the father, who Scrooge was surprised to see was none other than his clerk of Cratchit.
Praise the Lord. Merry Christmas, my dears.
Merry Christmas.
Hello. Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
And how did our little Tim behave?
Oh, as good as gold and better. He thinks the strangest things while he's sitting by himself. He told me he hoped that people in church saw him because he was crippled. So they might remember that on Christmas, who made lame men walk and blind men see? Well, our Tim is becoming hearty and strong.
Oh, the goose. It should be ready.
Two of the young Cratchits went to fetch the goose, with which they soon returned in high procession. Such a bustle ensued that you might have thought a goose the rarest of all birds,
Right, everyone,
and
all
in
right,
truth,
time to set
it
the
was
table
something
now.
very like in that house.
You will behave. It is Christmas Day. Do not make it.
Mrs. Cratchit made the gravy hissing hot. Peter, the oldest, mashed the potatoes with incredible vigour. Young Belinda poured out cider for all. At last the dishes were set on, and grace was said.
Amen.
It was succeeded by a breathless pause as Mrs. Cratchit, looking slowly along the carving knife, prepared to plunge it in the breast. But when she did, and when the long-expected gush of stuffing issued forth, one murmur of delight arose all around the board, and even Tiny Tim, excited by the two young Cratchits, beat on the table with the handle of his knife. There never was such a goose. And when the dinner was all done, the cloth was cleared, the hearth swept, and the fire made up. And then all the Cratchit family drew around the hearth, while the chestnuts on the fire sputtered and cracked noisily.
Merry Christmas, my dears. God bless us.
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Spirit, tell me that Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant chair in the poor chimney corner, and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. These shadows remain unaltered by the future. The child will die.
Oh no, kind spirit, tell me the child will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none of my race will find him here. What then? If he is to die, better do and decrease the surplus population. Man, you are in heart. Forbear that wicked cant until you know what the surplus is and where it is. Will you decide what men shall live, what men shall die?
Mr. Scrooge! I give you Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast on.
Dear, the children, Christmas Day.
Oh, I suppose it should be Christmas Day, on which one toasts the health to such an odious, unhealthy, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Robert. Nobody knows it better than you.
Emily, please.
I'll drink his health for your sake and for the day's, but not for his. Long life to him, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'm sure he'll be very happy and very merry indeed.
Silent night, holy. All is calm, all is bright, round yon virgin mother and child. Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Sleep in heavenly peace.
But they were happy, grateful, and content with their lot. The love in that house was almost palpable. As the light faded, the Cratchits looked happier yet in the bright sprinklings of the Spirit's torch.
Come, come, we have far to go.
While thinking what a solemn thing it was to move on through the lonely darkness, it was a great surprise to Scrooge, while thus engaged, to hear a hearty laugh. It was a much greater surprise to Scrooge to recognize it as its own nephew's, and to find himself in a bright, dry, gleaming room with the Spirit standing smiling by his side and looking at that same nephew with approving affability. Why, the Spirit had brought him to the middle of a rousing Christmas party, Ed standing shoulder to shoulder with his lovely wife, and a bevy of party guests, filled to the brim with Christmas cheer and Christmas wine. By the way, if you should happen by any unlikely chance to know a man more blessed in a laugh than Scrooge's nephew, all I can say is introduce him to me. And I should like to know him too.
My Uncle Scrooge says Christmas is a humbug, as I live.
I say!
More shame for him, Fred.
Oh, Elizabeth, he's a comical old fellow. That's the truth.
Well, I hear he is very rich.
Who's in a ditch?
No, Agatha. Rich!
What?
Rich!
Oh, Freddie, how rich is he?
What does it matter? His wealth means nothing to him. He doesn't do anything good with it. He doesn't make himself comfortable with it. And he doesn't give us the satisfaction of thinking he's going to benefit us with it.
Well, I have no patience with him.
And rightly so, Elizabeth.
A tight-fisted cheapskate he is, and a weirdo to boot.
I am sorry for the old man. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers from his ill whims? He does. Yeah. I'll give him the same chance every year, whether he likes it or not. He may rail at Christmas till he dies. I can't help but think better of it. I defy him. If he finds me there, year after year, in good temper, saying, Uncle Scrooge, how are you? It only puts him in the vein to leave his poor clerk £50. That's something. Oh, and I think I shook him yesterday.
Shook him, he says. Shook him until he bellowed.
Well, in celebration of that happy fact, I say we all have another drink.
And with that, they passed the bottles joyously. Of course, there was music. Fred's good friend Topper sang. Fred's pretty little wife Elizabeth played the piano beautifully. They played Blind Man's Bluff.
But you can't get me, but you can't get me, but you can't get me.
And charades.
2 words. First word, first syllable, sounds like, angry, monster, mean, it sounds like mean. Sounds
Who has
like,
the beans?
No, Agatha, sounds like mean.
What's wrong with the queen?
Queen? Oh, sounds like Queen. Victoria? Huzzah!
Several rousing rounds of hot-boiled beans.
Hot-boiled beans and bacon for your supper. Hurry up before it gets cold!
Dropped the handkerchief.
Oh dear, I dropped the handkerchief. Tee-hee.
There might have been 20 people there, young and old, but they all played, and so did Scrooge, wholly forgetting that none of the guests could see or hear him. Oh, and the ghost was greatly pleased to find him in this mood, and looked upon him with such favour that he begged like a boy to be allowed to stay until the guests departed. Oh, but the spirit said this could not be done.
Oh, please, Spirit. Just a half hour more.
How about a game of questions?
Oh, yes, questions.
Yes, questions. That's my favorite game.
Oh, I'll go first. Ask me what you will. You'll never guess what I'm thinking of.
Is it a mineral?
No.
Is it a vegetable?
No.
Oh, is it an animal?
Yes. Is it a bear?
No.
Is it a domestic pet?
No.
Then it must be a wild animal.
Yes, quite.
Is it a bull?
Definitely not.
Is it a pig?
Is it a pig? Guess again.
Oh, is it a monkey or some sort of a chimpanzee?
No, and no.
Does it growl?
Grunts and growls, yes.
Oh, does it live in the country?
Does it live in the country?
No.
Oh, it must live in the city then.
Yes, here in our city.
Does it walk in the streets?
Yes, and how?
It's the bear that ran away from the park zoo!
No, it's not the bear that ran away from the park zoo, but you might mistake this for one.
I have it. I know what it is.
Yes?
I have found it out, Fred.
Well, what is it then?
It's your Uncle Scrooge.
Right you are!
Wait, it was me all along?
I win.
Very, very droll.
Oh, Fred, you really are too much.
Oh, God, what old chap.
I thought there was a fair answer.
The answer is Queen Victoria!
Well, he has given us much merriment. It would be ungrateful not to drink to his health. I say, Uncle Scrooge.
Uncle Scrooge.
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old fellow, whatever and wherever he may be. He wouldn't take it from me, but he may have it, nevertheless.
Thank you, my boy. Thank you, my friends. I've had such a lovely time this evening.
The whole scene passed off in the breath of the last word spoken by his nephew, and he and the spirit were again upon their travels. Much they saw, and far they went, and many homes they visited, but always with a happy end. The spirit stood beside sick beds, and they were cheerful on foreign lands, and they were close at home by struggling men, and they were patient in their greater hope. By poverty, and it was rich, in almshouse, hospital, and jail, in miseries, every refuge, where vain man in his little brief authority had not made fast the door and barred the spirit out. He left his blessing and taught Scrooge his precepts. was a long night, if it were only a night. But Scrooge had his doubts of this, because the Christmas holidays appeared to be condensed into the space of time they passed together. It was strange, too, that while Scrooge remained unaltered in his outward form, the ghost grew older, clearly older.
My time is almost gone.
Our spirits' lives so short.
My life upon this globe is very brief. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
Hark, the time draws near. Look here. Oh, man, look here.
They were two young children, yellow, meager, ragged, scowling, wolfish, but prostrate too in their humility. Where graceful youth should have filled their features out and touched them with its freshest tints, a stale and shriveled hand, like that of age, had pinched and twisted them and pulled them into shreds. Where angels might have sat enthroned, devils lurked and glared out menacing. No change, no degradation, no perversion of humanity in any grade through all the mysteries of wonderful creation, as monsters half so horrible and dread.
Spirit, are they yours?
They are humanities. They cling to me, appealing from their fathers. This is ignorance. This is want. Beware them both in all of their degree. But most of all, beware the boy. For on his brow I see humanity's doom written. Unless the writing be erased, deny it!
Have they no refuge?
Are there no prisons? Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
Stave 4, the last of the spirits.
Are you the ghost of Christmas yet to come?
The spirit answered not, but pointed onward with its hand.
You are to show me the shadows of things that have not happened, but will happen in the time before us. Is that so, Spirit?
Although well used to ghostly company by this time, Scrooge feared the silent shape so much that his legs trembled beneath him, and he found that he could hardly stand when he prepared to follow it.
Ghost of the future, I fear you more than any spectre I have seen. But as I know that your purpose is to do me good, and I wish to be a better man than I once was, I will bear your company. Won't you speak to me? Well then, lead on. Lead on then. The night is waning fast, and it is precious time to me, I know. Well, lead on, spirit.
They scarcely seemed to enter the city, for the city rather seemed to spring up about them and encompass them of its own act. But there they were, in the heart of it.
When did he die?
Last night, I believe.
What's the matter with him? I thought he'd never die.
God knows.
What's he done with his money?
Hasn't given it to me, that's all I know.
Well, it's likely to be a cheap funeral, for by my word, I don't know a single man that will go to it. I suppose we should volunteer.
I'll go if lunch is provided, but I must be fed to attend this party. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
I know these men, but why do we attend their conversation? It seems so trivial. Still, there must be something to this men's conversations, and words of wisdom that I can take from it.
They left the busy scene and went into an obscure part of the town where Scrooge had never ventured before. The ways were foul and narrow, the shops and houses wretched, the people half naked, drunken, slipshod, ugly.
Who's there?
It's me, Joe.
Mrs. Dilber.
Oh, Merry Christmas, Joe.
Fa la 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 la. What brings you dockside on Christmas?
Well, I was recruited, Joe.
What's that?
Oh, I was offered an early retirement opportunity.
Huh?
Defunded and downscaled. Accessed, freed up for indefinite idling. I lost my job, Joe.
Oh, no.
Yes, the old master died last night.
No.
Yes, and seeing as he didn't leave a will behind, I helped myself.
Them stolen goods.
And what if they are? Well, a person's got a right to take care of himself. He always did.
Indeed, no man more.
Who's the worse for the loss of a few things like these? Certainly not a dead man.
Indeed.
If he wanted to keep him with him after he died, wicked old screw, why wasn't he more natural in life? If he had been, he'd have had someone to look after him when he was struck with the death.
Indeed.
Instead of lying there alone, gasping out, all by himself.
It's a judgment on him.
Well, this is the end of it, you see. He frightened everyone away from him while he was alive to profit us in death.
Spirit, I see the case of this unhappy man, a man who died alone and friendless. His fate may be my own. Spirit, if there is any person in this town who shows emotion caused by this death, show me that person, Spirit. I beseech you.
Oh, my sweet husband. Oh, you look exhausted.
Say something. Is it good or bad?
Bad?
We are quite ruined.
No. There is hope yet, Caroline.
If he relents, but he would never.
He is beyond relenting. He is dead. His housekeeper told me. I went there to beg for a week's extension on our debt, and what I thought was an excuse to ignore me turned out to be quite true. We may rest our heads with peace tonight, Caroline.
It was a happier house. The only emotion that the ghost could show him, caused by the man's death, was one of enormous relief.
Please, show me some tenderness connected with the death.
They entered poor Bob Cratchit's house, the dwelling he had visited before, and found the mother and the children seated around the fire.
Hello, my dear Emily. God bless you this Christmas Day.
Have you made the arrangements, then? Is everything in order?
Yes, my dear. I wish you could have gone. It would have done you good to see how green a place it is. But you'll see it often. I promised him we would walk there every Sunday. My little child. My little child. Coming from church today, I passed Mr. Scrooge's nephew, Fred. He was so very kind. I am heartily sorry, he said, for you and your good wife. If I can be of any service to you in any way, he said, giving me his card. That's where I live. Pray come to me.
I'm sure he's a good soul.
You would be sure of it, my dear, if you saw and spoke to him. But however and whenever we part from one another, I am sure we shall none of us forget poor Tiny Tim. Shall we? All this first parting that was among us.
Never, darling.
And I'm happy. Very happy.
Fool-eyed him. Answer me, spirit. Are these the shadows of things that will be, or the things that may be? Or can the boy be saved?
The ghost conveyed him. As before, though at a different time, Scrooge thought. Indeed, there seemed no order in these latter visions, save that they were in the future. They reached an iron gate, a churchyard.
Something tells me that our parting moment is close at hand. I know, but I know not how. Answer me, spectre of death, for I know you now, and you are he. Death is the subject of your lesson, and it is death that I must learn. Spirit, show me what I shall be in the days to come.
The spirit stood among the graves and pointed down to one. Scrooge advanced towards it, trembling.
Before I draw nearer to where you point, Spirit, answer me. Men's course will foreshadow certain ends, which they must lead. But if these courses are departed from, the ends will change. Oh, tell me this is true.
Still the ghost pointed downward to the grave by which it stood. The spirit was immovable as ever. Scrooge crept towards it, trembling as he went, and following the finger, read upon the stone of the neglected grave his own name. Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge.
No! Spirit, no! Please, Spirit, show me how I may wipe away the writing from the gravestone. Hear me! I am not the man I was! Please! Why would you show me these things if I am all without hope? Good Spirit, please! I will change my life! Please! No!
My room. My bed. My blanket. They are here. I am here. Oh, Jacob Marley, heaven and Christmas time be praised. The shadows of the things that would have been may be dispelled. They will be. I know they will. I shall live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three will strive within me.
Yes, and the bedpost was his own. The bed was his own. The room was his own. Best and happiest of all, the time before him was his own to make amends in.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather. I'm as happy as an angel. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. I'm giddy as a drunken man.
Silent night, holy night, sleeping heavenly, sleeping Good Lord in heaven!
I've been waiting for you.
Oh, have you? I'm sorry, sir. I'm a little after me time, but it's Christmas, you know.
What's that? What's that you say? It's Christmas?
Yes, sir. It's Christmas Day.
Oh, it's true. It was all true. It all happened. Although I've been traveling so long, I thought maybe I missed it.
Traveling, sir?
It's all true. Oh, Dilba. Oh, Dilba, you are simply glowing with Christmas cheer. Oh, Dilba, you beautiful, beautiful lady.
I quit.
Running to the window, he opened it and put out his head.
Hello! Hello there! Eh? What you want?
What's today, my fine fellow?
Today? Why, it's Christmas Day.
Oh, it's Christmas Day. I haven't missed it.
The spirits have done it all in one night. Well, of course I can. Of course I can. They can do whatever they want. Oh, hello there!
What?
Do you know the poulterers on the next street?
Oh, I sure hope I do.
An intelligent boy. A remarkable boy. Do you know if they've sold the prize turkey hanging in the window? Oh, not the little one, the great big prize turkey.
What? The one as big as me?
Oh, a delightful boy. Yes, the one as big as you.
Well, he's hanging there right now.
Well, go and buy it.
Get along with you.
Oh, I am in earnest. Go and buy it and bring the bird here to me. Come back in 5 minutes. I'll give you a shilling. Come back in less than 5 minutes. I'll give you half a crown.
Guru!
What a delightful child. Oh, I'll send the prize turkey to Bob Cratchit. Oh, he shan't know who sent it. Oh, it's twice the size of Tiny Tim. Oh, to see the look on Bob Cratchit's face when it is delivered. Oh, but first.
He dressed himself, all in his best, and at last got out into the streets. The people were, by this time, pouring forth as he had seen them with the ghost of Christmas present. And walking with his hands behind him, Scrooge regarded everyone with a delighted smile. He looked so irresistibly pleasant. In a word, that 3 or 4 good-humoured fellows said, "Good morning, son. A Merry Christmas to you." He had never dreamed that any walk, that anything, could give him so much happiness. And in the afternoon, he turned his steps towards his nephew's house. He passed the door a dozen times before he had the courage to go up and knock. But he made a dash and did it.
Why, bless my soul, I don't believe it. Uncle Ebenezer, what are you doing here?
Good morning to you, nephew.
Oh, you seem to be in good temper.
I'm out on a Merry Christmas, the merriest Christmas I've had in some time. Will you forgive me for being a stubborn old fool, for having no eyes to see with, nor ears to hear with all these years?
Oh, Uncle, there's nothing to forgive. Does this mean you'll be joining us for dinner tonight?
I am still invited.
Dinner is at 6 o'clock. May we expect you?
Yes, certainly.
Uncle, you have made me so very happy.
Merry Christmas, Fred. Merry Christmas, my dear boy.
Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Scrooge took a carriage to Camden, where for the 3rd time he found himself on the doorstep of a poor dwelling.
All right, children, all right. Let's set the table. Look at this turkey, the turkey. Why, it's twice as big as you, Tim. Yes. Scrooge! Mister! Sir!
Don't Scrooge, Mr. Sir, me, Bob Cratchit. Why are you not at your desk?
Oh, sir, you gave me the day off.
I most certainly did not.
But I've always had Christmas Day off. Well, ever since that first year when Mr. Marley gave...
Oh, don't bring up Mr. Marley with me. I spoke with him last night, and he has no idea of what you speak.
Sir?
I'm not going to put up with this any longer. And therefore... I am about to...
No, sir, please don't!
Raise your salary. Merry Christmas, Bob. Oh, a merrier Christmas than I have ever given you. And as for Tiny Tim, we shall see that he gets the best doctors. We shall see that he gets well. Oh, but we'll talk all about this at my house this afternoon. At my house this afternoon. You'll bring your family, won't you? Yes, Bob. It's a mystery. But what a wonderful mystery it is.
Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all, and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. And it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well. Oh, may that be truly said of us, and all of us, every one.
Christmas song, take last
time we're doing it.
And a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas!